All right.
We're professionals. Bear with us if you're ever on gun channels. I'm going to go in there right now and change the link. We're going to talk about a couple other stories, but long story short, shit happens on these live chats. Sometimes it's out of our control. 1 second, guys. So you guys brought up the first story of the night, which was, tell me again as I'm putting this in here.
Oh, the first story of the night, we were talking about the Missouri gun shop that agreed to pay the $2.2 million to sell the lawsuit, alleging it negligently sold a gun to a schizophrenic woman who used it to kill her father. Now, I also mentioned earlier that we did talk about this story a week or two ago. We talked about it had just happened. She had just killed 3 people, and we had heard that there was going to be some controversy around it because of the situation. Now, I said then, and I believe now, that this is personal responsibility, man. If you know something, if you know something's up and you knowingly sell something to somebody, that's negligence. Whether the shop wants to take it or the guy who sold the gun wants to take that negligence on himself is frankly his decision. But you know, I'm a big proponent of being responsible for your actions, and they certainly weren't in this case.
I think in this scenario, I'd rather be sued by the girl for not selling me the gun or not selling her the gun than not heeding the advice from the mother, you know, saying that the daughter was in distress. You know, because as you could imagine, as an FFL holder, you face
one student, a 14-year-old male,
countless
that armed himself.
accusations.
Stand by.
You know, so
all kinds of issues tonight.
No,
I think I would definitely err on the side of caution there.
Let's reset this thing. It's a very interesting story. We talked about it a few weeks ago, and here we go again. I had some technical difficulties getting logged back in, and now I've been able to pull up most of the stories we were going to talk about. I'm probably going to miss a few, but the good ones are, again, the main line, the headlines that we had on the other channel. I apologize for whatever happened.
To answer your question, Smeggy, yes, the mother of the chick called the cop.
Yeah.
And said, don't sell her a gun. She's not well right now.
She sure did.
Yeah, I still think if you know something, you know what I mean? I mean, if someone has called and you know, there's some controversy going on in the chat right now, obviously.
What are they saying?
Well, they're just fuck, High Plains. I'm just going to call you High Plains, bro, because my eyes ain't that good. But he said, that's ridiculous. I have anti-gun family members, and to have them randomly call a gun shop and tell them don't sell that guy a gun is absurd. And I agree. I mean, that's a tough.
This girl was clinical. This person had clinically done something in the past. I forget the exact details of the story, but there was no question that person should not have gotten a gun.
Well,
and the mother pleaded with the store owner, please don't do anything. And immediately after she got the gun, she killed somebody, like immediately.
Multiple people, correct?
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, 3 people. 3 people. And I believe they were family members, you know what I mean? Like brother-in-law, sisters, thing like that. The point that he's trying to make, and I understand, if so, does this set a preference for any anti-gun family member, like he says, an anti-gun family member to not want her son to have guns in the only gun store in town, and she calls him and goes, oh, he's got problems, and I heard him talking about this, that, and the other. Right, is it the gun owner's responsibility? I don't know, man, but I would think that you have a personal responsibility with deadly weapons. That's just my thoughts.
Wait till later in the show when we have the story about the Austin police chief that says, if you know gun enthusiasts, turn them in.
Oh, that scares me.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Get there. Thanks everybody for tuning in again. We appreciate it. And again, to reset real quick, shout outs L2D Combat, Keybar, Grizzly Targets, Lansing Tactical, all the other companies that we support along the way. Make sure you go over at everydaycarrylife.com and our newest sponsor this week, which we'll talk about at the end of the show, magstogo.com. Check that out. And sorry about the reset. I think I got most of the good stuff set up, Ross. Casey, appreciate you guys jumping in as always, and appreciate you continuing on as I had my issues. This one is weird, and it's interesting because I had a conversation with my 16-year-old, and I've had a few other conversations. There's been a lot of chat on the Gun News Weekly Facebook page. Sandy Hook Promise unveils creepy public service announcement. Let's watch it. I got to give it its fair view so everyone that has not seen it can know what we're talking about. Take a look at this one.
I got some news today from the radio man. He spoke the words somber and as softly as he can.
Casey, you hearing that?
No.
Me neither. No sound, brother.
There it is.
He waited a while. He knew that he would. He was gonna hang around here for as long as good days went by. And hours idle passed. He was never sure just how long he would last. But there's not much love in a lonely room. Today's the day that Johnny met you.
Have a good summer.
You too.
Thanks.
Hey, you must be bored.
No way.
This is the guy that I was running through the library. Yeah.
Guilty. So you like to write on desks.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Now it's starting over, it's the place that we are. You look already underneath all the stars tonight. It's a burning thing. Oh, how I still love to hear you sing. Oh, and everything we ever heard about heaven is true. Today's the day that Johnny met you.
Thoughts? Thoughts from you guys first.
Well, I mean, it's obviously it's a pretty, it invokes thought for sure, because you're watching a love story while a tragedy is unfolding in the background, and it makes a good point that it's easy to overlook some of those signs, but in my opinion, if somebody wants to, we secure ourselves the best we can in life and set ourselves up to defend ourselves. But you and I know if somebody has their mind set on shooting people or breaking into your home, I don't care what you have in place, it's going to happen, and bad things happen every day. And, these people are going to do it. And the question is, when this stuff happens, I think the focus should be on how do you protect yourself from that, and what are, situationally aware of what's going on in that moment. But it's a powerful video. That I think it's one of the best anti-gun things I've seen in a while.
Ross, what do you think?
I have all kinds of thoughts running through my head tonight about that. The first and foremost, we train, or at least prepare, or at least try to keep our heads on a swivel looking for danger. You know what I mean? Looking for threats and being aware of our surroundings. Why wouldn't you want to add something like that to your repertoire? Why wouldn't you want to help that kid? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't the teacher play a part in finding that kid? I mean, she's right there, right? Why not have other kids looking for the threat? That's obviously a threat.
I think I have a bunch of thoughts too. We'll go back and forth if you have more. It's powerful. It got a lot of kids' attention. I mentioned a PSA I wanted my oldest to watch at 16. She said, "Which one?" I said, "The one with the cafeteria at the end." And she said, "Oh yeah, we seen it. We've been talking about that at school." And we had a conversation the entire drive home.
God, there's new video out on that. Did you see the new video out on that?
What's that?
The Columbine shooting. It's
No,
crazy.
no. I'm talking about that one, Ross. That PSA ends with them in a cafeteria.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were talking about Columbine.
And it had not registered as a gun issue. Again, to quote Joe Rogan, we have a mental health issue disguised as a gun control problem here in the United States, and that rings true for me. So my next thought as a gun, as again a Second Amendment advocate versus the anti-gunner, was the message of that says that if you watch Hickok 45 videos and you flip through a gun magazine and you post a picture of a gun on Instagram, you're now a candidate to go shoot up a school.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's a great point.
There was also some bullying mixed in there, which obviously we don't advocate at all. And there's been a big anti-bully push in all of the schools around America. There was some unacceptable behavior where kids they pushed off his headphones. But what that kid's actions were, what were they? He was watching a video, he was flipping through a gun magazine, and he went like this at one point to someone. That's what his physical, and so does that mean that every kid in Texas that owns a gun and watches a video and has a gun subscription to Guns and Ammo is now a candidate for shooting up the school?
So that's where I was going after, was what action that he was doing told you that he was going to commit mass murder that afternoon? None of them particular, right? I mean, none of them, although you would want to be aware of that, I would think.
My other thought was that persona of kid was in every school I ever went to. I'm assuming he's still at every school. Again, you still have your popular kids and your cheerleaders and your this and your grease monkeys and your this and all the different little subcultures within high school. I'm assuming those, once again, for lack of a better term, loners, that's what they portrayed him as, a kid that was alone. He was sitting by himself. He didn't have friends. No one stood up for him in the hallway. That kid exists in every school, everywhere.
Sure.
So how do we, again, as pro Second Amendment guys, how do we turn this and say, all right, we absolutely support kids that are troubled getting the type of support and help that they need? We're all about it. Everybody on the panel would say that these kids, again, identify them early if they need help. Help them 100%. I don't know. Those are just some of the questions I had about that one. It was an interesting PSA for sure. Showed it to my wife too. We both, again, watching it the second time and not the third time. You're watching the kid after you watch it the first time. All you're looking for is the kid. First time.
Well, if you can dictate the narrative, you see that stuff. If you don't dictate the narrative, you don't see it.
Right. So I actually applaud them for opening up eyes, as you have said as well. I just don't like some of the techniques and some of the again, anti-gun stuff, saying it's because we know, and it's just been showed 2-3 weeks ago at Ohio State, what happens when you don't have a gun. You can still do damage.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that love guns and, like you said, would do the same things that he did, and not be planning any kind of shooting anybody, So,
right.
Was that in fact a Hickok 45 video? Or did you just say that?
I'm stating that because when I looked at it briefly, I looked at the freeze frame, and we can go and look at it.
I'd be interested whose video it was, because I wouldn't think that they would have permission to use the clip.
There was someone mentioned that as well. They must have gotten. Here it is, right here. So, excuse me, I got a cough tonight. Here we go. I'll screen share.
Good thing it wasn't a TacDaddy clip.
we'd have a hell of a story, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, so there it is. Let me see how big I can make it. Said that before.
Uh-oh. Now we're going there.
Debbie. What's up, girl?
And it was right after that.
Is this another PSA?
No, it's the same one.
No, okay, all right. I was going to say, holy crap, man, what'd you do? Hit the PSA jackpot?
I don't know whose video that is, but that stance of that person looks familiar to me.
It's not Hickok.
You sure?
It doesn't look like Hickok. That guy's got big arms.
Yeah, but why was see now you bring in, now you're gonna like dive into the thing, and why is this at all worrisome to anybody that someone's watching gun YouTube videos? Why is that worrisome to anybody? You know, if you go through this and you pick it apart frame by frame, I'll bet you could find all kinds of things that every day everybody does, and yet they're going to focus on them and say, well, if you put them all together, he's a radical.
Interesting point. Don't forget what the number one thing they used to call out time and time and time again was. What was the number one thing they used to call out? Video games. They didn't have anything with him playing any violent video games or anything in this one. Interesting.
Yeah, and you see how much that helped. Probably grew the video game industry by billions and billions like the gun industry.
All right, let's move on. How about we talk about mannequins? You guys know about this one, right? Got a couple to talk about here. Stand by. Actually, let me go to Gun News Weekly on Facebook. Dun, dun, dun.
Smeggy just had a funny comment. It said, if all gun owners were as evil as they say we are, then there would be no anti-gunners.
That's true.
That's pretty
I've seen a meme out there, Casey, that says there's 300 million guns and about 1 billion rounds of ammo. If gun owners were the problem, you'd know it.
All right, so the mannequin challenge is going on, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. People are doing this in their work. Public service people, blah, blah, blah. Well, these are the two videos we'll talk about. Here's the first one.
At least those people have their finger off the trigger.
Not in every single case. There are a couple cases in here where I saw them that
in the car. Yep,
it's
in the
freeze
car.
frame.
My apologies for the music.
That girl is a real proud please. Small world, all her friends know.
Okay, so
they're all safe.
What's interesting on this one is there's some magazines shown here, and they're in a state where magazines aren't real, according to some of the license plates on the cars. So let's think about that. Here's the one that really got in some trouble. Let's check it out. This is out of Alabama. 19 guns and 22 men are shown. And after they posted this video, there you go. Anyway, they did a whole thing, and they went to the house, and next thing you know, they found drugs. They found all kinds of. Here's the picture of the.
Found a bulletproof vest, couple guns that weren't registered.
You're roboting like crazy. You might have to reset.
That's wicked, man.
Mic check real quick, Casey.
Yo.
Yeah, go ahead and jump out and come back if you don't mind.
Penis.
Yeah, better.
That's better, as long as you go there. All right, cool. The other thing I noticed was very rare. There was a rare gun. If you notice on the table there, right? Very similar to
Yep.
this NPAT.
What, your chopper?
The chopper. With the 5.56, yo.
And now we know Kevin's got contacts over there.
Alabama, yo.
I think the reason that the police raided the house is because it's the home of a known, at least somebody who had a warrant. At least one or two of those people had warrants. That's why they arrested them in the house with the guns. I don't know the full story, but I do know that that's part of that. And then the question being, do you think that the first video you showed, do you think that's going to draw any suspicion from anybody?
What, are you trying to play the race difference?
The only reason I do is because it's already out there. You know what I mean? I've already seen it all over Facebook. You think anybody's going to get in trouble for that one?
Being black in Alabama is like already a crime. So I mean, like, I don't know.
Are they
man.
both in Alabama?
I don't know. I just know that Kevin said Alabama.
The second one is, let me see. I have to go to the original.
I don't think Alabama has any like magazine restrictions. Dude, Kansas City is rolling.
Are they really? They're taking care of the Raiders?
They just ran back a punt. It's 21-3.
Jump in and say hello. All right, next story. Mannequin challenge. Again, you want to put your guns on video and you want to do some dumb stuff. If you have, again, reasons to attract the police, go right ahead.
Yeah, really. And I mean, if you're going to do illegal shit, either way, if you got mags that aren't legal, or you want to shoulder your SIG brace or whatever on video, it's at your own risk. Sure, people get away with it.
At least just don't show the license plates.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're not doing anything illegal, then what's the problem? You know what I mean? But this day and age, someone can get a wild hair and shit. Next day, you could be losing your job. You could be, you know what I mean? It's just a crazy environment to be posting things that have any illegal stuff in them. Every adult ought to know that shit by now.
Well, it's just like all those kids in both of the videos. If their school saw that, God, what would they be labeled? At their schools would turn them into, oh, that's a little terrorist, you know.
All right, next story. Baltimore launches, quote, gun violence enforcement division. It's launched this week.
What is that?
It's a unit of elite prosecutors and police who will work together and make sure gun convictions stick, something the city's been struggling with.
Yeah. Similar units, quote unquote, similar units have existed before, but this one's different because it takes a more individualized approach and focus on the offenses committed by violent gun offenders rather than merely the gun-related offense.
Damn, where are you getting these quotes? That's a good one. This week, the unit is learning about, quote, characteristics of an armed person, unquote, in an effort to help prosecutors at a trial.
Baltimore crime rate is soaring, Kevin. Soaring.
300 deaths so far this year.
And this is their response.
Well, this is the thing.
They're going to do the same thing they did last year, but it's going to be different because we're going to bring coffee to the party this time.
2 recent murders have been carried out by people who were released from jail after charges against them in previous violent crimes were dropped for whatever various reasons.
Now, if I remember correctly, she is the state's prosecutor, right?
You're talking about
State attorney,
Marilyn Mosby.
Yep.
Who again? We had some issues with her. Some of the judgment calls she was making. To me, she looks 15.
So isn't it her responsibility to prosecute these people or give them the opportunity to plea bargain their deal down? Isn't it her responsibility to come up with that in the first place? And now she's put a committee together to make it that way? Like somehow she's not already responsible for the way it is?
You're saying that's already her job and she's using her position to create more?
This is just another layer of government. Like the article said, similar units have existed before. They were ineffective then. They're going to be ineffective now. But it puts, 10, 15? I didn't see how many people are going to be on this task force, but it puts a significant amount of people on the government dole for no express purpose other than
what they're saying is they're great at arresting and they're great at pressing charges, but they're not great at getting the really bad people off the streets.
You know what they're really good at? They're really good at fleecing their constituents. That's what they're really good at. They're really good at finding ways to spend your money.
What are the characteristics of an armed person? I'm still stuck on that investigation. All right,
that's kind of scary, dude. Like, what is that exactly? Why does it have to be so mystical? You know what I mean? Why can't they tell me what they're training on? That doesn't sound. It sounds like they're doing psyops. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so check it out. This battle is interesting. The division of America is very, very interesting to me. It's very clear to me at this point, too. The New York Times calls for national concealed carry reciprocity, quote, a threat to public safety, while the LA Times calls a national concealed carry reciprocity, quote, absurd and dangerous. Meanwhile, GOP congressional guy, what's his name? North Carolina Republican Richard Hudson is putting back on the table something he brought first in 2015 when sessions opened in 2017 to do just that, create a national reciprocity act of some sort.
So we know from the cold hard facts that the more concealed carry permit holders a state has, the safer that state gets. Am I off there?
Yeah, but Ross. Okay, so think about just the mess that it creates from Pennsylvania to New Jersey to New York to Massachusetts to, I mean, just like that block of the upper Northeast, where in some places, once again, you can't be on Manhattan with a gun unless you're a cop.
Right.
Period.
You got to follow the laws of each state, but you drive in those states, and my interstate says 75, yours says 55. I can't, just because I'm coming from my state, drive 75 on your interstates. I can't, coming from Colorado, or I can't, coming from Florida to Colorado, carry a mag that's more than 15 in the mag. You can't have them.
This guy's going for it. He says, quote, I'm sorry. The Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act of 2017 is a common sense bill. I like how they finally put that the other way. To provide law-abiding citizens the right to conceal carry and travel freely between states without worrying about conflicting state codes or onerous civil suits. He also told the Daily Caller, as a member of President-elect Trump's Second Amendment coalition, I look forward to working with the administration to advance policies that support and protect our rights to keep and bear arms. I wanted to put a side note here. It seems like the two things that are definitely attainable are some sort of national carry law, in addition to hearing safety protection acts. The other person that got onto that is the president, owner, creator of Silencer Co. got onto that board that I just mentioned, the Second Amendment Coalition. So if you ask me, those are the two ones that are going to happen sooner than later. And
why wouldn't reciprocity, if they're going to do a national carry?
I just told you why. There's certain states that are going to say hell no.
Right.
Well, then you need to look at the motives of those states and put some real facts behind them. And if they can come up with the facts to prove it to the people, then by all means, I guess. That's a bunch of malarkey. Pisses me off.
Malarkey.
I'm trying to keep it clean tonight.
Scared to curse. All right, from the Patriot Outdoor News. This is again, we get our sources from wherever, but when it's a video clip, it's a video clip. This one's interesting. There was a shooting in Austin last week, and a police chief came up with a plan to curb future shootings. Namely, tell the cops about your friends or family members who love guns, especially if they hate anyone. So here's the video clip. I'll let him speak for himself.
Folks, let me tell you what keeps me up at night. It's these guys. It's these homegrown extremists that are lone wolves, that are mad at the world, that are angry. And that's why it's important for us as Americans to know our neighbor, know our families. Tell somebody. If you know somebody that's acting with a lot of hatred towards any particular group, especially if you know that somebody that's a gun enthusiast or is armed with these type of firearms and they're showing any type of propensity for hatred, doesn't mean that we're going to go in and take them to jail, but we might want to vet these people. He may well be alive today, and we had the opportunity to do that.
Now, wait a second. This is
At least he prefaced it to if you know someone.
It's the police chief that's taken an oath to uphold the Constitution and the laws of his state. He's in Texas, and he's suggesting that people should call in gun enthusiasts who are angry about something. So what that means is he's stating in general that if you hang out with your neighbor on a Saturday and he's mowing his lawn, and you happen to see a couple guns in his garage being cleaned or something like that, and you come to the conclusion that he's got more than one, or he hunts and he comes home with an animal from time to time, or whatever it may be, and he's out there, he's angry at some subgroup, whatever it may be, because of some situation in his personal life, which, again, I would venture to say that most adults have some prejudice towards some group somewhere, somehow. This now police chief is suggesting that you call the police and let them know that he's got guns and he's angry.
I think it's bullshit. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
I think
it's bullshit. I think there needs to be.
Going to take the next step. I think you can sense that.
I just think it's. I think there is a. I think there that everybody should be aware of their surroundings and the people that they choose to hang out with, and their world, right? Reichard's world, whatever you want to say. It's good to be aware, but can you call the cops because your neighbor has a couple guns in the garage or is in the garage watching a YouTube video? I mean,
Ross, I'm sure people do it all the time.
They probably do. It has the markings of the alt left, if you will. You know what I mean? That activist, anti-gun, viral, just that crazy crap, dude, and it's bullshit. People have a right to their own privacy, and just because you see something you don't like, if it's legal, you have no right to complain about it.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, let me shift a couple more gears. We've got about.
And let me just say this: just because a guy's a cop, don't make him freaking smart. You know what I mean? We got to stop listening to all these boobs on the TV. Just because they got on TV, don't make them an expert on shit. Malarkey.
Malarkey.
Just got to keep it clean, you know?
Hogwash.
It is hogwash. All right, we did Baltimore. We got that done. Next one, there was a knifing. Student with a knife was shot by campus PD at Reno High School.
I saw this. Oof.
This one real quick. This is on Head Down News. Check that site out.
14-year-old male had armed himself with a knife.
A teenager was shot by a campus police officer at a Nevada high school after threatening classmates with a knife. Reno police said that they were called late Wednesday morning to Hug High School, where a 14-year-old student was shot. Unconfirmed video of a school courtyard shared by Hug High School students shows a young man with a large blade swiping at others. Another clip shows an armed officer and the same young man on the ground holding his neck, but does not include the moment of the shooting. Reno cops said at an afternoon press conference that the school officer ordered the suspect to drop his weapon before firing once. The teen was said to be in some sort of fight before the shooting and is in critical condition at a local hospital.
Too much or not enough? Or right amount of? Too much, right? Sounds like it at a high school with a kid.
Look at the kid. Look at the poor kid. The string beans got better build than that boy does.
Oh wait, here's some actual video where it looks like there's someone fighting back. Let's take a look at this. Action. He looks. Oh wait, this is a kid with two knives, Ross. Look at that.
Oh shit.
All of a sudden, that string bean looked a little tougher than we thought. Look at that. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. Oh. Oh, yeah, he's swinging too.
Back up! Back up! Back up! What the fuck?
Very hard to see what's going on.
Oh shit.
Oh, wow. He's walking around. He's not really swinging, but he's... Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Now, they allege
It's
that
too
the
much.
Cop, they allege that the cop told him to put it down. I didn't hear that. That cop took a shot with a lot of kids in the background, no matter what direction you're shooting there.
How many people were hurt by him?
That guy right there, he put him down.
How many people were hurt by the guy with the knife?
I don't know.
Guys, get out of here! What the fuck?
All right, in the aftermath, I'm sure we can all vision what happened there.
So in this situation, is it not appropriate? And my understanding is that nobody's hurt but the kid with the knife. Wouldn't there be an escalation of force? Knock the kid with a little pepper spray. I mean, good God, man. He's not what I would consider. I mean, he's got a deadly weapon. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Back and forth on all the stories that we talked about.
And we're Monday morning.
His ability. You're judging his ability level.
I'm judging the cops' training is what I'm doing. I really do not.
They should. That's what tasers are made for, in my opinion.
That's why there's pepper spray. That's why there's bear spray. You know, I mean, the kid had not hurt anybody, although he's lunging around and making a show of it. But we're talking high school kids, dude. The drama factor these days is off the scales in high schools.
Was the cop that shot him a school resource officer?
Yeah,
It looked like a plainclothes person.
Campus police officer at a Nevada high school is what they're saying after he threatened classmates with a knife. I love how we get to the details after we all yell at each other about it. But yeah,
well, again,
14-year-old kid.
Again, we weren't there. We don't know anything leading up to this. You know, I mean, I guess that officer has to assess what's going on and make that decision.
Kid's walking around with two blades in two hands. Now, again, he put them at his sides and had a very stern walk when he moved back around to that thing. He could have been hitting people that were close to him.
He walked through the crowd. He could have chunked somebody. He could have.
Oh, yeah.
He was close enough to definitely, if he wanted to do damage, he probably could have done damage. He didn't do any damage because it's all show.
All right, let's finish
His
up.
His freaking girlfriend probably broke up with him or something, man, and now he's got a hole in him.
This one I'll read to you from the Tribunist. Dad is beaten, robbed, and shot after opening the door for the UPS delivery company. The company issues a warning about it. It's the busiest time of year for deliveries for all of those types of companies. So I just want to make sure that on the show we put out our own little PSA and say use your due diligence when you're answering your door. If you're not expecting something, definitely don't answer the door and tell them to leave it there for you and wait till the car. Make sure that official vehicle's out front. I mean, that's another pretty clear sign. Although I know that there's some subcontractors that they use that just throw up magnets these days too because the volume that they're. I mean, my mail guy is out till 8, 9 o'clock. He's usually here before 3, 4 in the afternoon.
Dude, I got U.S. mail on a Sunday.
Sunday he was delivering too.
What
I had a package from Nike dropped off last night at home, UPS at after 9:30.
It's insane how busy they are. However, we want to make sure everyone knows, make sure that you're protecting your house, protecting your castle, and make sure you're opening the door to people that you know who they are. And let's go to the last one of the night. We'll kind of do it as a question of the week somehow, Ross, because it sounds like you and I have a slight disagreement on how I handled things. I put up a live video yesterday on Facebook.
Oh, I love the video, by the way. Great video.
Well, thanks. It was basically just hey, I got pulled over, and that's the first time I've been pulled over in a while where I had my standard carry gun next to me and was driving. I drive a lot. I drive the kids to and from things, including school every day and after school activities. I'll give the quick version, and then Ross, you can say how you differ in opinion. Jumped in the car, pizza, stuff on the seat next to me, take off, and it's just after dusk. And I notice in the rear view that there's a cop behind me. No big deal. As soon as I take the right-hand turn, he lights me up. Interesting. I guess I've aged. I guess once you're in your 40s and you're not really doing anything wrong anymore, I didn't have that adrenaline rush that I had every time getting pulled over as a kid. And it's been 20 years since I've been pulled over for a traffic violation, to be honest. And so I immediately went into, holy shit, want to make sure that I go to my protocol on what I do. And so, and thanks to Dan, and thanks to Scott, and thanks to a few other people who shed some input on this. And I did get some answers from the video earlier. But long story short, I turned off my car. I put my keys on my dash, and I put my 2 hands on the dashboard like this, just like that. And any officer that walks up on my car can see some gun related stickers on the back of the car. And then they can pull up and see that I clearly have a license on one side and a concealed carry permit from the state of Florida with a challenge coin. Side note, we can now get these things renewed online. Florida passed something, by the way, which is one of the stories that fell off when we.
That's awesome, by the way.
So I've got my challenge coin that I got from my friend at the department, at the police department where we do the training stuff, and he immediately said to me, "Who are you with?" And I said, "No, I'm not with anybody, but we have some mutual friends over at the training center." He said, "Oh, okay, your lights are off." I was like, "No shit." And I looked, and sure enough, my lights were off. I didn't turn on my lights. And it was a well-lit area. It wasn't like I was driving blind. I mean, obviously, visually, I just don't, again, I don't drive a lot at night. So my lights are off. I said, "Oh, man, my bad." And he said, "Well, let me grab your license and call in real quick, and I'll let you get on your way." I said, "Cool, no problem." So I pulled out my license, handed it to him. He hasn't said one word to me about my gun. I haven't said one word to him about my gun. And he stepped to the back of the car. He called it in, came back over, said, "Have a great night." And I said, "Cool, thanks, you too." And he noticed somebody jogging by that had a T-shirt on from a school that he went to or something, had a conversation, and I was out of there. It took off. Now, I asked my friend at the police department, I said, "Hey, do they know when they pull up by license plate? Like when he pulled up, does he know I have a permit? Because our permits come from the state of Florida, but it's like the agriculture department." Who issues this? It tells me on here.
It should come up. It does in Virginia.
The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Division of Licensing is who issues these permits. So I said, whatever. He told me that he could cross-reference on computer while he's sitting in the car and go a couple extra steps and find out, but they don't. He said in general they do not. I also asked, is it now again, my gun was concealed. It was in between my console and my car, in my seat. It sits very snug in there, and I have a little mil-spec monkey, do-rag thing that I put right over it. You just can't see it. And I use that for the car line when I'm dropping kids off a lot, because I usually carry appendix, but if I get in the car and I'm going to be there for a while, I just put it right next to me. And so the second question that we had was, do I have to tell him? Do I have to say anything? Do I have to declare it? And I didn't. And the answer is no, you don't.
I think you always should, as a courtesy.
If he asks you, then yes, you must tell him the answer to the question. You have to respond with truthfulness to a police officer when they're asking you questions. So anyway, I felt like the protocol went straight, Ross. You said you wouldn't have gone that far. Go ahead.
Well, you know what, Kevin? Honestly, I did not pick up that there was no gun talk there. I thought that you kind of made and I watched the video. I don't know how it escaped me, but I thought that you had made a show of, here's my concealed carry permit. And actually, the way you said it, I just kind of picked it up that way. But I wouldn't have made a big deal at all. And I don't usually get my wallet out ahead of time unless I'm carrying at that position, at that 4 o'clock position, and I'm going to be near my gun where it could, Murphy's Law, fall out and like go off when I go to get my wallet.
Or look like you're going.
Right, or even look like I'm going for a gun. But typically speaking, I don't do nothing until he says license and registration. I say, it's in my back pocket.
He didn't even ask me for registration, Ross. He didn't ask me for registration or proof of insurance or anything like that.
Gotcha. Well, he probably just pulled you over courtesy, like, hey, dude, your lights are off. That's not illegal per se, but it's certainly a public service thing, right? You want to let people know.
No, I think it's illegal.
Say again?
I think it's illegal. I mean, he could have written you a ticket if he wanted to.
Oh yeah, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You don't have lights on when you're driving at night. That's absolutely.
But come on, man. There's a whole different thing between the intent of like driving around with your lights off and shit.
Hey, Ross,
and,
I got a ticket for it. I mean,
did you?
Yeah, and I
got a ticket.
I was downtown. It was dark. I was in a rental truck even, and I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm not, this is a rental, and downtown is lit up like a Christmas tree, man. It's like daytime and the nighttime.
That's an asshole cop.
Absolutely. But yeah, they can. But to answer your question, when I get pulled, I carry in the same place, so it's easy for me to reach. At my 3 o'clock, grab my pistol, and what I do is and nobody can see through my tinted back glass. Whenever I get pulled over, I set the firearm up on the dash in the middle, and I get my wallet, and as the officer approaches, I have both of my hands outside of the window of the car. And and you know what? Since I've done that, I haven't gotten any tickets. 0. I'll have some officer say, why do you have your hands out the window? And I'm like, because there's firearm on the dash. And they're like, thank you for letting me know. And like when they know, I think when they know from the jump, there's no surprises.
And you're submitting, in essence, Ross, to their power.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The fact that they deal with shitty people all the time, and you're saying, okay, hey, listen, I know you deal with some shitty people. Here's my hands. And the hands thing is big, Casey.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean,
don't forget, I did those "What would you do" scenario videos, and the hands thing was what stuck with me. They're always looking at people's hands, and there are my hands, and there's my 2 licenses, and my car's off, and I'm not going to drive away. I'm no threat. I got pizza on the. You know what I mean? Like he starts doing his math of his observation, and I guess that's why again he was comfortable just saying whatever. Well, anyway, we could talk about that for hours. What's your protocol? Leave it in the comments below. Talk to us. Shoot us an email. Let us know what you think. We'll probably follow up with it. But a few things to talk about before we wrap up. First of all, dudes, SHOT will be here before we know it.
I'm excited. First time it's SHOT, man. I'm looking forward to being the cameraman.
I'm looking forward to being the ambassador. You'll have some fun. We'll have some fun collectively.
But what am I supposed to be?
You're in charge of refreshments.
Fluffer?
You're in charge of
Fluffer?
refreshments and pancakes.
Pancakes.
Get some cakes. I didn't get a chance to talk about the definition of gunman, which I want to next week. Please go check out magstogo.com. Also, shout out to the family. Not a shout out. That's so disrespectful. I'm going to start that way. We want to pay our respects to two groups of people tonight. One would be John Glenn, passed away, a Marine, a senator, guy who went around the earth back when they used to send up monkeys. He was like, yeah, I'll go. And then also Pearl Harbor Day just passed. I mean, if you didn't get a chance to watch any of those documentaries on what the hell those 16 to 18 to 20-some-year-old kids went through, it's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. And the thing that never really dawned on me watching a couple of the different things, that was like a cake outpost at the time. Like that was the one where they sent dudes that wanted the cake gig. You know what I mean? They didn't think they were going to see battle in Hawaii on the beaches. They were surfing and shit.
Dude, it's Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for anybody who hasn't made the trip down to see the memorial down there, it is unbelievable.
Over there.
It's down by my standards, down and over. Yeah, in the middle of the sea out there by the equator somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Please share the video if you like it. Check out the regular videos that are coming out, including some great stuff. Pretty cool announcement in a second here. Check out TacDaddy.com, everydaycarrylife.com. You can get all your holsters, all your nylon, all your gear. And thanks to Frank and everybody that has supported us along the way, including a great company like Head Down. Make sure you check out. They have a T-shirt sale going on right now. All their T-shirts are pretty well discounted. So go over to head down products, search head down products, head down firearms, HD firearms. They got a couple different websites. Next week, Ross. And then lastly, this arrived, and I'm allowed to talk about it now because we're going to start talking about it. You'll hear a lot about it next week, and then we'll have some cool media and follow-up video. Ross, you met Mikey, correct? You were there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got some fantastic products in his lineup.
CAA is well known for the Roni and the different types of gun apparatuses that you can put a Glock in. You can make it more stable. You basically transform a handgun into a shoulderable, in most cases, weapon, more stable weapon.
I absolutely loved shooting that micro Roni. I thought that was probably one of the coolest products I saw at Big 3 that year.
Well, your little brother gets to go and hang out with Mikey and some of his IDF friends and some other trainers and a group of handpicked media folk to attend the Hartman CAA course, quote, train the trainer the IDF way, aim high, December 11th through 14th. So Monday through Wednesday, I will be over at Altair. Shout out to Altair Training Solutions here in South Florida. Wishing everybody coming in, including some great friends from all over, different media, a bunch of friends. Again, I'm going to miss people if I do, but Tim Yan and David Fortier and Curtis from VSO and Marty from Talking Lead, Jim Grant, a bunch of other great folks that are going to come and cover this event. I just found out Masad Ayub's going to be there. It's going to be pretty fantastic. And the schedule, we're up early and we're shooting at nighttime. So it's going to be 2.5 full days of learning the Microroni and the Hartman optic inside out, sideways. I'll be able to speak on this thing when it's all said and done, but it should be a pretty fun media event in the meantime. And we'll be producing some of the videos that come from that event. Looking forward to it. And it's awesome. It's just, not too far down the road.
Dude, South Florida is hopping for gun stuff.
Hey, man, if the weather's like it's supposed to be, it should be just perfect. But shout out to CAA, Hartman. Looks like Altair Training Solutions. Vertex will be there supplying some clothes. Shell Shock Technology, L-Tech, Walker's Game Ear, Scope Goat Slide Boot. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to find out. Century Solutions, Breakthrough Technologies, our friends from Breakthrough down in Miami, and our good friends from Triumph Systems are all part of the sponsors that are putting on this event over at Altair. Again, it's going to be a fun time camping, training, shooting. I'm sure we're going to put some rounds down range, and I get to be taught once again by some world-class people. I'm blessed. I appreciate everybody's support, and I hope to bring you some entertaining content as a result. And then we turn around.
You're going to get some good training with that X95.
Again, I'm not too sure if we're doing anything outside of the Ronies, Ross, but I know that the Hartman optic, that's something that I'm interested in putting on the X95. So I'll be taking mine. I
can't wait to shoot that at SHOT, the X95.
Yes, sir. Not a problem. I think we can make that happen. The Galeals, too. They'll be fun.
Galil. Ace.
All right. Another quick last shout out as, again, a friend of the show, no doubt, and former partner and cohort. And again, we miss him at the same time. We know he's moved on to some other thing. Schwell's going in for his surgery that we were talking about a few months back and getting that taken care of starting next week. So shout out to Schwell, his entire family. We love you, bro. We hope it is as painless, and we hope that the recovery is as quick as possible so you can get back on the horse. We can get back to the Inspire stuff, and you can get back to life, bro. Like I said, he's been through hell and back, and we were a big part of watching that all happen. And I know a lot of the viewers out there love him and support him as well. Leave a comment. We'd appreciate it. Ross, we'll talk to you next week, bro.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for supporting us as always. And a quick shout out to Rob Pincus, who's going to be a grandfather, I believe, if it hasn't happened already. Congratulations, buddy. Hope to see you on soon.
A daughter and a granddaughter that are going to be able to hang together. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Casey, we'll talk to you next time, bro.
Yeah, man. Y'all take care.
Got it. If you want to see live coverage from the CAA event, make sure you check out the Gun News Weekly Facebook page. Also, $250. We're giving it away next week live, guys. So if you want to be a part of that, go to TacDaddy.com, click the banner, like a couple pages. someone's that watches this show is gonna win because we have not pushed it out crazy in other outlets, and there's not a ton of people in the thing. So one of our friends that watches the show is gonna win.
That's awesome, man. I love it when there's not thousands and thousands of people in these giveaways.
I'm glad we're keeping it nice and tight. And the people that are watching right now, I'm looking at that number. You should all go to TacDaddy.com, like a couple of Facebook pages. There's a couple other things you can do, and get your name in there because someone's going to win. Appreciate everybody watching tonight, and appreciate you dealing with the bullshit of the technical difficulties. We'll try to make it smooth every week, but every once in a while, sure turned out all right.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Talk to y'all next week. Peace.